day that we get to worship and invite all of our family members, grandparents, parents, and children together. It is truly a wonderful sight. I shared with our staff late last year that Living Grace Church should be a place where parents, grandparents, and grandchildren can worship together. And so today, just one time, we don't always do this, but the PowerPoint is actually going to be in Korean and English. We don't always do this, but bear with me. I'm going to share as many so that those who do not understand English can understand it as well. So today's sermon is entitled The Power of a Blessing. I want to ask you a question. Are you a blessing to your family members? Are you a blessing to your family members? Now, it's easy for me to be a blessing to people outside of the family, right? To my friends and coworkers, it's easy to be nice to them. But when I come home, I don't have my smiling face. I don't always put my best for my family members. I give my best to you here at church, to my friends outside, but for some reason, I think as a Christian, I should be a blessing to my friends, a blessing to my co-workers, blessing to church members, but many times we forget to be a blessing to our family members, our fathers, our parents, and our children. Can I share with you a problem that we all have? The problem that we all have is this, is that, let me turn this on. The first slide that I want to share with you is that all families have problems. All families have problems. There's no perfect family. My family, my wife, my 2 children, when my oldest daughter was young, we were perfect. She believed everything I said. When she got older, she doesn't believe me anymore. My youngest daughter, when she was really young, I spent more time with her than I did with my oldest daughter. As we get older, I don't spend any time with my younger daughter anymore. Because she's independent. I think she developed my independent characteristics. And so families have problems. All of us today, when we have family worship, we acknowledge that we want to have a nice family, but somehow when I go home, it changes. We've all got problems, but the thing is that God, He wants us still to be graceful. He still wants us to be a blessing to not only people outside, but people inside our home, right? We come home and we should be as nice to our husbands and wives as we are, and to our children. Now, the truth that I want to share with you this morning, the first truth, is all blessings, they come from God. It starts with God, all right? Blessings don't come from me. Blessings don't come from you. It comes from our Father up in heaven. And He gives us this blessing, and then He tells us something to do. He gives us a command. He gives us a task to do. So the blessings begin with God, but then He wants us now to share the blessings with others. So I would like for us to read this verse together. It comes from Genesis chapter 1, verse 21. All right? Those of you who can read it in Korean, and I'll read it in English. Let's read it together in unison. So God created the great creatures of the sea, and every living and moving thing with which the water teems, and every winged bird. And God saw that it was good, and God blessed it. God created us to bless us. That was His purpose. Every time God blesses, it is a gift of grace. It's His way of expressing, I've created this so that you can be blessed by me. In the Old Testament, the word blessing is used over 400 times just in the Old Testament. So it tells you the heart of a father, the heart of our Father up in heaven. God starts by creating, and the verse right afterwards is He blessed them. He creates and He blesses. That's His heart. So God created man and woman in His own image. In the image of God, He created them. Male and female, He created them. So God blessed them. God made creation. God made creation to be a blessing to others. Let's see if I can get this thing to click to the next slide. There we go. God made creation because He wanted to bless us. He even later creates the seventh day. You know, the Sabbath day? So that we can be blessed with rest. That's the heart of God. The Father is constantly trying to give His creation, His family, an opportunity to be blessed by Him. God created the seventh day, and it was a way for Him to bless us. That is the heart of the Father. And then after the flood, when all things were destroyed because of sin, Noah came out, and God said to Noah, Noah, I want you to say to your sons and to your family members, be fruitful and increase in number and fill the earth. Bless, be a blessing to mankind. Now listen to me very carefully. As I shared already, the heart of the Father is that He wants to bless people. I'm sorry, go to the slide right before this. He created us to bless us, but at the same time, He wants us to be a blessing to others. God is the greatest blesser. And then He looks to us now and says, I want you to bless others as well. So this is where the verse comes from. It comes to us from Genesis chapter 12, verse 2. And let's read this verse together. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing, and all the people on earth will be blessed through you. The idea is that blessings start with God, and then we ought to be a blessing, and it should flow through us. But here's the big problem. Do you know what the big problem is? The big problem is sin. We have this thing called sin, and it prevents us from sharing blessings. Instead, sin calls us to accumulate blessings. Instead of sharing, we just want to keep it. That is what sin does. So the promise of Genesis chapter 12, the heart of the Father, it stops when it is given. And it stops with us. That's what sin does. So when I go to work or go to home, I receive all kinds of good things, but I'm tired, I'm busy, I'm angry, right? I don't like looking at my husband. I don't like looking at my children. And so I don't want to bless them, right? I've been hurt by my family members. There's a history. And so I don't want to bless them. I just want to keep it to myself. That is the sinful condition that we find ourselves in our homes. So let me share with you something. This is what fathers do and moms do and everyone does. There's a certain type of wealth. We call it greed. And all we do is we work, we go to great schools, we have great jobs so that I can have more things, right? So that I could be self-promoted. This is the type of greed, right? I mean, honestly, many people say, oh, what does your father do? Oh, he loves us. He works for us. Not all the time. Some parents, they work to promote themselves, right? Some fathers and mothers and people, they don't work so they can help their family. They do it so that I could drive a better car. I can live in a better home. That's the sinful nature. That is what we do in just trying to accumulate wealth for ourselves. But honestly, we have to kind of graduate. We have to get away from this and become instead a blessing, as the scripture says, to give to others. A blessing is giving to others. Building wealth and greed is getting more for myself. Right? Blessing is, I am a blessing to my mom, my dad, my children. I'm a blessing to my family members. And greed is, no, I'm just going to keep it to myself. I don't know about you, but it is very, very easy to hold on to the good things that happen to yourself. It's difficult to share it with others. And I don't know why. I confess to you right now, I am incredibly blessed. I have a wonderful wife. I have 2 wonderful children. You saw my oldest daughter give a prayer today. I was a little bit shocked. Right? I was happy. But sometimes when I go home, for some reason, I don't treat my wife, I don't treat my 2 children as though I want to bless them. Instead, I want to be selfish. Anybody else here selfish? No, only me. I understand. I'm the only selfish person. Believe me, that's why I'm your pastor. I want to be a, right? So I come home and I have greed. I just, give me food. Cheryl, I'm hungry. Right? Sophia, give me the remote control. Right? I tell my mom or my mother-in-law, hey, your daughter's not doing this, or, hey, I'm having a miserable life. My mind, it's all about me. But if I am to have a different mindset, I come home and I say, even at my house, God wants me to be a blessing to my family members. So, some people ask young little children this question. What does love mean? What does love mean? All right, so an 8-year-old girl answered the question by saying, when my grandmother got arthritis in the hands, she could not bend over and paint her toenails. My grandfather, her husband, who also has arthritis, paints the toenail for my grandmother. He said, that is love. It's very nice, isn't it? They asked a 4-year-old boy, what is love? And the 4-year-old boy said, when someone loves you, the way they say your name is different. You just know your name is safe in their mouth, right? And I have to think, when I call my wife, or when you call your family members, Stan, right? Steve, Peter, right? Yo! Right? It's the sound doesn't come out right. Instead, I should have a tone of blessing, like Sophia. And it's very difficult because after I come home, I'm filled with anger. All the things that didn't get done. And then I project my voice, the way I talk, in an angry tone instead of trying to be a blessing. So what happens? The most important thing is you're going to realize, am I a blessing to my family members or not? Today, I want to share with you the story of Jacob. We all know his story. We could say that Jacob is a person that was starved for blessings in his entire life. We could look at Jacob, the son, and say that he was always kind of looking for something. Affirmation. He always wanted someone to give him something. And we kind of know why when we look at his childhood. Let's start by looking at the story about Jacob. You know the story of Jacob? Esau was the first son, and he was loved a lot by his father. He loved just that one son. And as a result, there is a second son, his name is Jacob. Guess who loved him instead? The mom loved Jacob. So there is this kind of division in the family. Esau is, my son, Jacob, doesn't go outside, he just stays inside. And so the mom loves Jacob more. Esau was the firstborn. He was always cherished by his father, and Jacob was not. And what you're going to see is that for the rest of Jacob's life, he is a man who is constantly looking for a blessing from almost every main character that he finds in the Old Testament. We know that if we look at the consequences of their lives, this is a verse in Genesis chapter 27 when Esau lost his blessing. Jacob stole the blessing, right? Jacob said, you always get everything. You're going to get everything. I'm not going to get anything, so I'm going to steal it from you. So what happened as a result of Esau losing the blessings from? Esau was sad. He cried. He was angry because Jacob had stole the attention away from his father. There is a world of hurt in that family. There's a world of hurt. You know what I'm talking about, right? We have one son, you give him all the attention, and all the daughters or others, you don't pay attention to them. One son gets everything, and the other sons, they're like, how about me? And so they live their lives looking for something. So what happens? Who is going to get a blessing? Jacob deceives his father. Jacob receives a blessing that was intended for Esau. The truth is when you are not blessed at home, when you are not affirmed at home, many times we go outside like Jacob did to receive some type of attention from others. So when Esau heard this, his father's words, he burst out with a loud and bitter cry. And he said to his father, bless me too, Dad. Jacob took everything, but I want to be blessed too. And Esau wept aloud. What is the devastation that happened as a result? The terrible consequence for Esau is this. He married again because he overheard that his father didn't like Canaanite women. His father didn't like Canaanite women. Told Jacob, now you should marry a non-Canaanite woman. So Esau married another woman. He already had 2 wives. But because he too wanted the affirmation of his father, he went and married another woman unnecessarily. And Esau, for the rest of his life, held bitterness in his heart. He wanted to hurt Jacob, even kill him. Now for Jacob, it's even different. Jacob, he had some consequences too. Jacob's life is characterized, the son who didn't get any attention from his dad, right? His dad only liked the first son because he was strong, outdoorsman, right? He liked to cook barbecues. And his other son, Jacob, he was kind of like a homebody. He wasn't active. Maybe he liked to read books. Maybe he liked sewing. Who knows? But his father didn't like him. Jacob, his entire life, is wanting something from others. Goes to his uncle. Works hard just to get something from him. Even finds an angel, says, I need something from you as well. His entire life is fearful of others and wanting something from other people. Wrestling with an angel. Give me something, because I don't have. Give me more. Give me more. And trying to get attention. So, where does somebody go? Where do we go when, as hurt people who have been hurt, people who seek God's blessing, where do we go? So, here's what happens. You know what happens. Jacob, this is the last part in his life where he asks a blessing for the last time in his life. He's about to meet his brother, older brother, he thinks his older brother wants to kill him. And he meets an angel, and he wrestles with the angel, he fights with the angel, and he says, give me a blessing. And the angel finally gives to him a blessing. Do you remember what that blessing was? What was it that the angel gave to Jacob, who desperately wanted something from him? What we find out in the next slide is that after he wrestles with the angel, Jacob does not run away from Esau. Jacob's running days are over. The rest of his life, as a result of this encounter with the angel, he walks with a limp. You know, right? What happens? You know what a limp is? A limp is when you walk like this. Right? That's what happens. Esau wanted to kill Jacob because Esau stole everything from him. But somehow, after many years, Jacob, who was running all his life, all of a sudden appears, he's limping. And I don't know, Esau saw that, and his heart melted. And Esau ran to Jacob and hugged him. And they cried together. And I'm sure Jacob was shocked too. Jacob probably wanted to run away, but he can't run anymore. His leg, he just can't run anymore. Esau's heart melts. You know, when we think about this, the truth that we have to understand as family members, right? As family members, we're all broken. We all have problems. You know, I've been a pastor in a Korean church for a long time. All right? I don't know how, it's been 30 years. And as a pastor, I have to fake it in front of you. You know what I mean? I have to fake that my family is perfect. I do. As a pastor, because like in the Korean church, you know, Pastor Nam and his wife and their children, if they're not perfect, what happens? That Nam Moksanim is bad. Right? He doesn't know how to raise his children. Same thing in LGC. Oh, that Pastor Steve loves his wife. Doesn't like him. Oh, we know why. He must be a bad guy. So I have to fake all the time. Our family's perfect. Right? But the truth is, our family's not perfect. I fight with my wife all the time. She argues with me. She says, Steve, I said take out the trash yesterday. Oh, I forgot the yesterday part, Cheryl. I thought maybe next week. So we argue. Right? I argue with my children all the time. Why is it that you're doing this? And my children say, because Dad, you don't know what it's like. And I say, I do know what it's like. Right? Oh, Pastor Steve, you must pray a lot for your children. No, I don't. I'm angry all the time with my children. My children make me so angry. But the fact is they're angry at me. They're angry with me as well. You think my wife always loves me? Believe me, it's not true. My wife is the most wonderful woman on earth for me. I don't deserve my wife. She's smarter than me. She's more organized than me. She's better looking than me. Right? Every category. I can say that I'm probably bettering her in yoga. But other areas, she's so much better than me. She gets fed up with me. Why? Because I'm a human. All families are broken. And I think sometimes God breaks us like Jacob. Because if we say, I'm perfect, I don't need prayer. 우리 가족은 괜찮아요. Our family's nice, it's okay. No, it's not okay. 문제가 많아요. And so God weakens us. He makes us limp and recognize, you know what? I'm praying, Lord, bless me, bless me. And he blesses Jacob with a limp. Why? To humble him. So that he can stop running away from the problem. And say, you know what? I need my family. I need to get right with my brother. I need to get right with my family. Maybe we can say that, blessed are those who live, for they will walk with God finally. Right? Sometimes I want to be a powerful pastor for my family. Right? I want to be a powerful pastor so when I come home, my wife looks at me and goes, wow, wonderful husband. Right? I want my wife to say, wow, you're the best husband I could ever be. You're so powerful at church. Come on, that doesn't work. Right? No, sometimes it's when I'm weak, I come home and say, honey, I'm scared. I haven't done a good job. I'm not as skillful and talented as I should be. What do you think my wife is going to do? Ah, you stupid Steve. No, she's not going to say that. She's going to say, almost like Esau, heart melts and humility. She prays for it. You know, when I come before my wife and my children say, I'm the father around here. You listen to me. I make all the money. Right? I'm the strongest here. I'm the smartest here. Everyone needs to bow down to me. And then like Jacob, you limp. Can't even walk anymore because you've been broken. And you come before your family and you say, I need prayer. I need you to help me. I'm sure when Jacob was limping and Esau saw that, maybe Esau's anger and bitterness towards Jacob, his younger brother, all faded away. Maybe Esau remembered when they were growing up, you know, Jacob, he was never the outdoorsman. He was always the younger brother. I always had to take care of him. And because of that rift, the fighting about the birthrights and all the possessions, they got angry at one another. But time has passed. They're older now, right? All their energy is gone, all their strength is gone. And Jacob is limping, and maybe Esau said, you know what? I can't hurt this guy. I can't hurt him. I can't kill him. Look, he's nothing now. He's made humble by God. Instead, I want to embrace him, and I want to pray for him. The truth is, if I can get to this next slide, today it's not working for some reason, is that if we truly understand this truth, the truth is that God sometimes, in our weakened state, He blesses us more. Those who walk with God will live. Those who are made weak are those who are a blessing to others. Dear friends, as a family, today, I'd like to request that you bless each other. I shared with our staff members last year. I pray that Living Grace Church and the future of all second-generation churches is that children, parents, and grandparents worship together. You know, when we were young in our Korean churches, everyone was separated because of language. Yeah, 너네들 저기 가서 예배봐. You guys go over there. We'll stay here. And so, second generation worship separately. First generation worship over there. Everything was separated. I share with our staff that we need to build a church where those lines need to be gone. Families should worship together. Where else is our children? How is my daughter Sophia and my daughter Talia? Where are they going to learn how to worship? They're going to worship by coming to church. But who are they going to learn from? I want them to learn from me, honestly. You know, one of the benefits that I had as a pastor is, when I was a young pastor, I always had Sophia next to me when we praised God. So she doesn't remember this. She'll remember. I used to hold Sophia in my arms for 20 minutes during praise time. So I would go to the back and hold Sophia. That was one of the best times in my life. That I can do that with my family, You guys know my parents come to church every Sunday. I think it's wonderful. that my father, who doesn't speak any English, he speaks Espanol better than Portuguese. Because he's worked with a lot of Latino brothers and sisters. But it comes because I asked them, don't you think you should come to your son's church? And he thought about it for a while. And he came, I thank my parents for your support. My uncle comes here once in a while. He's over here sitting, and it's wonderful to have my uncle. A family that supports. You know, when I stand before you today, I want you to know that I may not have many things, but because I know that somehow my family supports me, it gives me incredible wealth. You know, my father and mom, they don't have a lot of money. They really don't. They don't have a lot of money. But I believe my father and mom are the richest people on earth because they gave me an incredible opportunity to be the Christian that God wanted me to be. Seriously, my parents are the richest. They didn't have that much. But the fact that they're here supporting me, it gives me incredible confidence as a young man. In your homes, you want to make sure that your children, that your parents know how much you love them. In the ancient Near East, I want to share with you, in the ancient Near East, it's a little small, the custom was that only the first son was blessed. Only the first son was blessed. Everybody else didn't get the blessing. All right? And then in our modern times, it's not like that. It's the most popular son, or the most talented son, who gets all of the attention. That's because we don't like to share everything. We just look at things that are the most popular. But this is where our text comes from. Here, Jacob does something very different. When he was a young boy, his father only wanted to bless one son. That was Esau. And he lied to get that blessing. But do you know what Jacob did when he became older? Instead of blessing one son like the custom, like the culture of the time, Jacob blessed all of his sons. It never happened in the Old Testament. There's no such thing. Abraham blessed one son, Isaac blessed one. That was the custom. But Jacob changed it all by blessing all 12 of his children. Do you know another thing? Do you know who Jacob's oldest son is? His oldest son? Reuben. Do you know the most popular son was? His most popular and the most powerful son? Joseph. He was the prime minister. And you would think, my oldest son and my son who's the prime minister, they should get all the accolades and all my attention. No, Jacob did not. He blessed all of them equally and made them all leaders of the tribes of Israel. The blessing flows through every one of the tribes. And so here in chapter 49, verse 28, Jacob gathers them and he lays his hands on them and he prays for every child. Now, I don't know if he did it once, but maybe he did it constantly. Constantly. Every child. You know, Jesus is our master blesser, isn't he? Isn't he the one that wherever he was, wherever he gathered, Jesus blessed people. And when the young children gathered together, people said, get the children out. But Jesus always said, welcome the children. And Jesus laid hands on them. And he prayed and embraced them. This embrace is so important in our modern day era. There was a study done at UCLA where they said that people who have 10 genuine contact with family members or friends live longer. That people who have Alzheimer's, when they have, or dementia, when they have meaningful touch with others, it kind of lessens the symptoms of that. And so this human touch, I've heard stories coming out of here where children who are not held, they die. And in the church, we have this incredible tradition where we not only pray, but we also lay hands on people and show them through this very simple gesture that we care, that we want to connect with you. Can we all rise from our seats? Today is family service. We don't do this often. This is our very first time. I'd like for you guys to get together with your family members. And I want you guys to hold hands. Okay? I'm going to stand next to my family. And so all of us